Why do you think there's such a fear around public speaking?
Judgment. Just judgment. People, if you are standing in front of a room, you are opening yourself, and particularly in this age of social media, you are opening yourself up to who knows what.
Right.
So it's a very vulnerable position, very vulnerable. And you're going to start talking about your thoughts and your ideas. That's another, people, whether we like it or not, people are concerned about how they look. And then you're going to pour out your thoughts about something. And then there's a whole nother layer of potential criticism there. So it's a really vulnerable position. And so part of what we have to teach is to students to recognize no one has your outline. So if you forget something, they're not going to know.
Right.
You're the one who did the research and the homework on this presentation, not them. And to this day, 30 some years later, I have never seen a student throw up. And I've never had an audience where they weren't on the side of the speaker. Like, they want you to do a good job.
Right.
They're in your corner because they're going to be up there next.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to say it. If you're giving a presentation, you most likely know more about the subject than 95% of the people in the room. So in that situation, you're kind of the subject matter expert, and people are there to listen and glean information. And if you do make a mistake, I think everyone in the audience thinks that they would also make a mistake. And the fact that you're in front of them kind of puts you on this pedestal already where you are more admirable. And so any mistakes are kind of negated anyways because they're understood.
Mistakes are inevitable, and mistakes in speaking, you drop your notes, just, so many crazy things. Trip on the stage.
Sneeze, cough.
Whatever it is. But in our research in human nature, people don't remember the mistake. They remember your reaction to it. If you're like, oh, sorry about that, I'll get my act together in a minute, and you move on, nobody's going to remember it after that's done. Right. If you freak out, lose your composure, that's what they're going to remember.
Yeah.
So you really do kind of have to learn to let it go, move on. Fake it till you make it. I know that's an old saying, but we teach students to really, how are you thinking in your head? What are you saying to yourself? This is going to be awful. I'm going to fail. Well, you're kind of going to have a self-fulfilling prophecy there if you don't slow down and change that thought pattern. Right. Fake it till you make it. I did the homework. It's going to be fine. I'm not going to die. They're not going to throw things at me.
How do you make recommendations on rehearsing for a presentation? Thinking memorizing versus creating a skeleton or an outline. What's kind of your advice on that?
So it depends on the situation. If you're in front of news cameras and things like that, and this is going to be recorded, or you really have to get the wording right, it's okay to go from sort of a mini script so that you say certain things. If you have statistics, for example, that you're citing, you want to get those right. You don't want to misspeak about that. If you are giving a presentation about a subject you know very well, then you just want to use your notes, because what makes presentations engaging are your stories that provide examples and illustrations of the point you're trying to make. So if you know your points, students typically are worried about not having enough to say because they're worried about forgetting things. And so they'll usually put in too much content and run long. And so getting them to put in less content and then try to speak extemporaneously is a little challenging because that's also scary. I want the crutch of my notes. But what I see when I teach, I'm about to grade a set of what we call narrated PowerPoint presentations, video recorded, because that's a skill in the workforce. Is if you're going into human resources or training, you have a lot of those recorded training videos. And so knowing how to do that and the technology is pretty important. And inevitably, they have written the whole thing out in a script and they're reading it.
Right.
And a reading voice is very different than a speaking voice. A reading voice is monotonous and not very engaging.
Right.
And so getting them to let go of a script and just speak with natural tone and inflection and pauses. And so you misspoke a word and you have to say it again. that's much more authentic and much more engaging and much more human.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that we really work on. You also have to know yourself. I've been doing this a long time. So if you tell me, I want you to talk about this, and you have 30 minutes, I'm going to have a little 3 or 4 bullet points of things I know I want to cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to go from there.
Mm-hmm.
But I have practice. I have a lot of stories. I'm a talker. I'm in calm. So, I think that is part of just practice.
Yeah.
One thing we have found with research is we've done a comparison of student speeches and their speaking apprehension in 16-week classes versus 8-week classes versus 4-week classes.
Oh, interesting.
And the students that have the best outcomes are the ones that take the 4-week version because they don't have time to worry about the next one. Move on. Get to your next speech. Just keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has opportunity. It doesn't have enough time passage to forget what you practiced, what you did wrong last time, and have you worry about the next one. You just have to go.
Yeah. I wonder what would happen if you kept the same pace for the 4-week class for the 16-week class, though.
Well, in a 16-week class, you only meet once a week.
Right.
In a 4-week class, you meet 4 days a week, and then the class is over.
I see.
And so you're just going every week.
Okay. Man, that's interesting. I don't think I would have guessed that. But I guess it depends how much work you would do in your spare time in a 16-week class.
Yeah. You have other classes, you have other things to prepare for.
Right.